Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Before starting the lecture, I want to put some points in front of you all. Okay, those who are attending online and offline. Have you gone through the timetable of university? Everyone? Those who are attending online, have you gone through the timetable of university timetable?
Yes, sir.
बघितले का
Yes, sir.
सर्वांनी?
Yes, sir.
हा, त्याच्यामधले instruction वाचले सर्वांनी? Have you gone through all the instructions mentioned on that timetable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. नसतील ते आजचं टास्क लक्षात ठेवा, त्या सगळ्या इन्स्ट्रक्शन वाचा व्यवस्थित. कुठली इन्स्ट्रक्शन जर समजली नाही तर त्या कन्सर्न पर्सनला विचारा. ओके. आणि प्लीज बी क्लिअर अबाउट द एक्झामिनेशन. Now your examination will be conducted in online mode. That is confirmed. It is fixed. I received some of the doubts from student whether theory exam paper means what? It is in MCQ type questions. MCQ type multi-choice questions will be asked in the online mode. Okay. So how we conduct the ISC? Sorry, how we conducted midterm examination or chapter test? In that pattern, your final examination will be there. Any confusion now?
No, sir.
Sir, mark किती असतील?
Good point. Whatever the questions is of 50 marks. 50 marks question paper will be there. If you consider our subject, basics of mechanical engineering, basics of civil and mechanical engineering, 50% marks for basic civil and 50% marks for basic mechanical engineering. Means what? How many questions? 25 questions will be asked from civil engineering and 25 questions will be asked from basic mechanical engineering. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. So prepare well. Whatever the MCQs are provided from my side, you prepare well. You please go through it. Okay. Additionally, you have to revise what are the notes I have provided. Okay. If you revise all the notes, you will get idea. You can attempt any MCQ question easily. MCQ easily. कुठलाही तुम्हाला MCQ विचारला असेल तर तुमची theoretical preparation चांगली असेल तर तुम्हाला कुठल्याही प्रकारची अडचण येणार नाही, लक्षात ठेवा. So about attending the online examination, you will get the training or guidelines from the department side. ही परीक्षा कशी द्यायची किंवा काय सगळ्या गोष्टींची सूचना ज्या असतील ते तुम्हाला डिपार्टमेंट थ्रू मिळतीलच. You don't worry about that. And the class coordinator, which is Pawar sir, will arrange the session to you all. So this is related to the examination and what are the syllabus for the final examination. So 4 topics will be there for the final examination. You have to prepare well, right? So target to complete the syllabus 100% is 25th of March. So maybe today or tomorrow this topic will get over. Okay. And what are the remaining days we will get? Every day there will be lecture of basic mechanical. Maybe as per timetable we have lecture. I will take extra lecture, maybe early in the morning, maybe 9 to 10 or 4 to 5. Okay. So tomorrow what we'll do, we'll have the combined lecture for division B and E. Okay. So 9 to 10. If any teacher communicate to you, just you can say that slot is booked. Okay, you can say slot is booked for basic mechanical engineering. 9 to 10, you have to attend the lecture. Okay. So everyone should present for that. Those who are attending online, have you got tomorrow's notice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
9 to 10 will be my lecture. So all will attend. So we'll cover because we have to cover the syllabus 100% with effectiveness. Okay, if you want to cover effectively, then we have to go for the extra lectures. There is no any alternative solution. Then any point is missing? Japan discuss के लिए परीक्षेबद्दलच्या सूचना वाचायला सांगितल्या अजून 4. Then term work part, term work submission. Next part is term work submission. For basics of mechanical engineering, you have to submit the assignment, 4 assignment and 3 experiments. Already experiment write-up has been uploaded in the study material sheet. You open it, download it, and you write it. Okay.
Report.
Huh?
Report.
Before 30th of March. So deadline to complete all this term work part is 30th of March. त्याच्या आधी तुम्हाला सगळं काय संपवायचं आहे. आता हे थोडंसं प्रॅक्टिकली अवघड आहे, पण विल हॅव टू वर्क. त्याला काय आपल्याला पर्याय नाही, अल्टरनेटिव्ह सोल्युशन नाही. वी हॅव टू वर्क हार्ड. वी हॅव टू सिट ए लॉंगर टाइम. आपल्याकडे काय दुसरा ऑप्शन नाहीये. वी हॅव टू सिट लॉंगर टाइम. वी हॅव टू गिव्ह द टाइम. वी हॅव टू ऍक्सेप्ट द सिच्युएशन. ओके, and we have to proceed further. So you have to complete the assignment as well as experiment for the subject basics of mechanical engineering. This is one. Then second subject is creativity and design thinking. Already we have covered how many assignments? How many assignments? We covered the assignment on mind mapping. Second is empathy mapping. Third is third assignment.
Conversion, diversion.
Convergent thinking and divergent thinking we have covered. Then 6 thinking hat. So 4 assignments have been completed.
West
Okay.
to best.
Best to best.
Then best to best. So total 5 assignments we have completed our end. Only 3 assignments are remaining. Getting out of it. Okay. So let us see the time, and time permits, I will explain what are the remaining assignment. Already study material is provided. If you open the material required for the writing the assignment, you can open those PPTs, and at the end of the PPT, exercise and all the things are given. You can copy it as it is, no problem. But if you want to have some extra topic, additional topic, okay, of your choice, of your interest, in that case you can write differently, no problem. And then also what मला time is nahi, you can copy as it is. Whatever the assignment is given with solution, you can copy as it is. If not, those who want to go for some different assignment with different topic, no problem, that is also allowed. So maybe 1 hour is required to finish those two assignment, 2 to 3 remaining assignment. I will cover maybe within this week. Okay. So this is related to the assignment completion for the subject creativity and design thinking. Your term work will be given based on the whatever the write-up you completed, your performance in the ISEs, your performance in the chapter test. Everything will be considered. Nobody will be excused for the submission of write-up. Okay, those who will not submit the write-up, one thing will be, action will be taken. Okay, parent of such student will be called in the campus. This is one. Second thing is, marks will be given less. So two things will happen. So this strategy I am implementing for this batch, because some student always say, let it be sir, give marks of your choice. But this year what I will do, I will call the parent of such students. I will explain them. So I must involve the parents in this process, because it is required, because they are paying the money, they are investing a lot on your this education. So they should know it. Will not keep this thing hide. Okay, will not keep this thing hide. So we'll express to the, or we will tell to the all the parents. Okay, those who are not doing, जे करणार नाही त्यांच्यासाठी ते केस असेल. त्यामुळे कुणी अजून स्टार्ट केलेलं नाही, सुरुवात केली नाही, प्लीज it is my humble request, sincere request to all those who are not completed write-up part related to CDT and basics of mechanical engineering, please complete it in time. Okay, I'm not interested to give the lesser marks. I want to give the everybody a good marks, maybe 23, 24 out of 25. Okay. And if you check the record of previous batches I have given, I am very much liberal in that regard. But those who are doing very poor, I am giving only 14 marks, 15 marks out of 25. So such example also with me. I am giving sufficient time. I have given also sufficient time to complete your assignments as well as experiments. You please prepare well in time. Okay. I think these are the instructions from my side. Any confusion, any doubt from your side? आहे का? आता विचारा. परत मी परत कुठलेही रिझन ऐकून घेणार नाही. मला माहितच नव्हतं, मी ऍबसेंट होतो, माझं रेंज गेली होती, नेटवर्क गेलं होतं. कुठलंही मी रिझन ऐकून घेणार नाही अबाउट सबमिशन पार्ट. आताच काय असेल ते विचारा. Those who are attending online, any doubt, any confusion?
सर सर्व ऑनलाईनच सबमिट करायचे ना?
हा, सर्व असाइनमेंट्स ह्या तुम्ही जे काही गुगल फॉर्म दिले त्याच्यामध्ये सबमिट करायचे. Related to workshop also as well as basics of mechanical and civil. हा, बोला.
गुगल फॉर्मला सबमिट पण केले आणि तुम्हाला पण तुमची पण साइन घेतली त्याच्यावर.
व्हेरी गुड. नेक्स्ट, अजून कोण आहे का काय शंका? वर अटेंडिंग फिजिकल, एनी डाऊट, एनी कन्फ्युजन?
सर या टॉपिक वर असाइनमेंट नाही का?
दिले ना क्वेश्चन तो ह्याच्यावरती? नाही दिले?
नाही सर, दिले नाही.
दिले नाही सर.
मशीन टूल वरती क्वेश्चन दिले का?
रिपोर्ट झालाय सर याच्यावर, पण असाइनमेंट नाही
I
झालं.
have one question. I still remember. I asked you to write. लिहून घ्या म्हटलं होतं ना क्वेश्चन्स. कोणते दिलते का? Take down immediately. First of all, take down immediately. Right. Question number 1. Question number 1. Explain lathe machine. Explain lathe machine with neat sketch. Explain lathe machine with neat sketch. Explain lathe machine with neat sketch. आता त्याच्यामध्ये काय लिहिणार? डायग्राम काढणार, लेथचे पार्ट्स डिस्क्राइब करणार, जे पार्ट्स आहेत त्याचे डिस्क्रिप्शन करणार. ओके, दॅट्स इट. एवढंच. लेथचे डायग्राम काढणार, प्रत्येक पार्टचं फंक्शन काय आहे तेवढं डिस्क्राइब करणार नाही. दॅट्स इट. ओके, पुढं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. एक्सप्लेन the operations performed on drilling machine. Explain the operations performed on drilling machine. जे आपण ड्रिलिंग मशीन मध्ये ऑपरेशन्स डिस्कस केले ते विथ डायग्राम यू हॅव टू एक्सप्लेन. Diagram you have to write and you have to do the explanation in 1 or 2 lines for each operation. Next, question number 3. Explain arc welding. Explain arc welding. Explain arc welding. Next, explain brazing process in detail. Explain brazing process in detail. Explain brazing process in detail. Next, give the difference between soldering and brazing. Soldering and brazing. Soldering, S-O-L-D-E-R-I-N. Soldering and brazing. Next question. give the difference between arc welding and gas welding. Give the difference between arc welding and gas welding. Okay. How many questions? These are the questions. Now, 5 MCQ. Any 5 MCQs you have to write from the what are the MCQ questions? MCQs. Any 5 you can select.
सर या टॉपिक वरचे एमसीक्यू अपलोड केले नाहीत टीचिंग डायरी मध्ये.
Okay. Now I will upload after the lecture. Okay, noted all the questions. Today's, what is today's deadline? 17. No? So tell me deadline. Huh? Now are your IS exams are over? ISA 2? Huh? When is your unit test? Huh? Take this clear. So today is 17. Tell me, you tell me the deadline. Huh? 21.
Yes, sir.
22. Okay, today is 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. You take 23rd. Note down. All of you note down your notebook. Submission of assignment number 7 or 6. 6. Submission of assignment number 6 on machine tools and joining process. 23rd. Okay. On 23rd is the last day to submit the assignment on machine tools and the joining process. Is it clear at all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now please pay attention. We'll start. Now in the previous lecture we have covered the gas welding process where oxyacetylene gas welding we have discussed in detail. Whether we have discussed advantages, disadvantages, all things are discussed now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Only part is there are different types of flames. Write down. Types of flames. Types of flames. So we know that whatever the welding torch through which the flame is coming out. Okay. So that flame is of different types. Okay. So that types we will discuss. One is types of flame you can note down. One is neutral flame. Neutral flame. Neutral flame. Second, carburizing flame. Carburizing flame. Carburizing flame. And next is oxidizing flame. Third type is oxidizing flame. Oxidizing flame. First will be neutral flame. Second is carburizing flame. And third will be oxidizing flame. Okay. So shortly we'll discuss the neutral flame. What is neutral flame? So you should know whatever the neutral flame is there. It means the whatever the flame is there, in that percentage of oxygen and percentage of acetylene gas, it is equal. We can say whatever the contribution is that particular flame. Okay, neutral flame, it is equal. It is 50-50. So that is what in neutral flame. When we call as a neutral flame, so whatever the percentage of oxygen as well as this thing, acetylene gas, it is equal. So that is called as neutral flame. So normally whatever the temperature get reaches to that particular flame is around 3100 degrees Celsius. Okay. So we have seen that in the gas building process, the flame is coming out, the temperature, it get varies based on the type of flame. Which type of flame is there, based on that temperature get varies. If it is neutral flame, so it goes around 3100 degree Celsius. Okay. So this flame is mostly used whenever we do the regular type of welding, gas welding process, we use this neutral flame. The next type of welding is just mention only. If whatever the points I'm telling you, you can note down. So whatever the temperature it reaches around 3100 degree Celsius.
तर
That
डायग्राम
is
काढायची.
roughly काढत चालेल. Draw it roughly. There's a torch tip, whatever the temperature, inner temperature is around 3100 degrees Celsius, and whatever the flame is there, it is a blue colored flame. Just blue colored flame असेल, we can say it is a neutral flame. म्हणजे तुम्हाला ओळखता येते whatever the flame is there, is it म्हणजे कार्बोनायझिंग फ्लेम म्हटलं तर जास्तीत जास्त काळपट असणार, आणि ब्ल्यू कलर असला का तुम्ही ओळखता की दिस इज न्यूट्रल फ्लेम. So temperature of that whatever the outer flame, we can say it is goes around 1275 degree Celsius. Okay, roughly काढा, just काय ही करत बसायची गरज नाही. Then next type of flame is carburizing flame. You see the carburizing flame where acetylene gas will be mover. Okay, so we know that in the setup of gas welding, there are regulators for supplying the acetylene gas and the oxygen. So we have to supply more amount of acetylene gas as compared to the oxygen gas. So that is why it is called as carburizing flame. More amount of carbon will be there. Okay, so this kind of flame is used for welding the high carbon steels. बघा आता अशा टाइपची फ्लेम कुठे वापरायची कार्बोनायझिंग फ्लेम, whenever there's a high carbon steel or the cast iron or alloy steel. Okay, in that case, what are the material that you want to weld it, metals you want to weld it, and those materials are very harder, like high carbon steel or the cast iron or some alloy steels, we use we prefer the carburizing flame. म्हणजे तुम्हाला त्या मटेरियलच्या जे मटेरियल आहे ते तुम्ही जे घेतलेलं आहे त्याचं what are the metal pieces you have taken, you have to see the material, आणि त्याप्रमाणे तुम्हाला ते फ्लेम सिलेक्ट करायचे, लक्षात ठेवा. सो डेफिनेटली वी हॅव टू थिंक, जे तुम्ही मेटल पीसेस तुम्ही घेतल्या त्या मेटल पीसेसचं मटेरियल काय आहे ते मटेरियल बघून तुम्ही काय करायचं, वी हॅव टू डिसाइड which flame is suitable for joining this, whether neutral flame, carburizing or oxidizing flame. So whenever the material is harder, we select the carburizing flame. Is it clear? So shortly note down or draw this diagram also. It is a carburizing flame. Roughly काढून घ्या. So what are the temperature reaches around 2900 degree Celsius in this case. Okay, so this flame is used for, in one line you write, this flame is used for welding high carbon steels. This flame is used for welding high carbon steels, comma, alloy steels, comma, cast iron, etc. Okay. Next type of flame is oxidizing flame. Next flame is oxidizing flame. Oxidizing flame. So in this oxidizing flame, whatever the percentage of oxygen will be more as compared to the acetylene gas. म्हणजे just जे काय तुम्ही रेग्युलेटर जो तुझे ऑक्सिजन आणि acetylene सप्लाय करणार आहात त्याच्यामध्ये will supply more amount of oxygen rather acetylene gas. So in this flame you will find more amount of oxygen. So what are the temperature of that particular flame? It reaches around 3300 degrees Celsius, and this is used for joining the non-ferrous alloys such as copper or zinc based alloys. Copper, what are the material of the metal? If it is copper or zinc kind of thing, so we can use this oxidizing flame. So more amount of oxygen. Okay. So this is the flames that you should know it. If there's if you are doing some gas welding process, at least तुम्हाला आयडिया आली पाहिजे की बाबा कुठल्या टाइपची फ्लेम आहे, कुठले मटेरियल आहे त्या ठिकाणी, मग ते फ्लेम सिलेक्ट करता आलं पाहिजे. So definitely you should have the information, knowledge about it, then only it is possible. आता आपण डायरेक्ट चालू केलंय चला पुरे वेल्डिंग, तसं नाहीये. तुम्हाला पहिला मटेरियल बघायला लागतं, त्याचं मटेरियल कुठलं आहे, कुठली फ्लेम सुटेबल आहे. नॉर्मली जे आपण जे रेंज पकडतो, ओके, स्टीलचं मटेरियल असतं, मग ते स्टीलच्या मटेरियलसाठी आपण न्यूट्रल फ्लेम सिलेक्ट करतो. पण जर मटेरियल एकदम हार्डर असेल, कास्ट आयर्न टाइप असेल, तर तुम्हाला ते फ्लेम सिलेक्शन खूप महत्त्वाचं पडतं. सो दॅट इन्फॉर्मेशन यू शुड हॅव. सो दिस इज द टाइप ऑफ फ्लेम. नाउ advantages, disadvantages, whether we are noted gas welding चे. Now one exercise was given to write the difference between gas welding and arc welding. I think for division E I have given. I think this is given for the assignment. Gas welding and arc welding.
Yes, sir.
I will upload the PPTs also on in this study material sheet. You can refer this assignment, this PPT also for writing difference. Now next part is soldering. Do the heading. Soldering. Put the heading soldering. Now what is soldering exactly? Everybody has seen the soldering process. बघितलंय का? Anybody has seen soldering process anywhere? कुठं बघितलंय? बघा, if you see in the shop of radios or the repairing shop of radio, tape or some kind of electronic devices, so there are PCB boards, printed circuit boards, on which we are where the wires are there that we want to join to that PCB. So we prefer the soldering. आपण जॉइन करत नाही का, त्याला आपण टागणी म्हणतो मराठीमध्ये. So that is called as soldering process. So for joining the soldering or for joining the some wires to the PCB board, we prefer the soldering process, right? So what is soldering process? It is the process of joining similar or dissimilar metals by the application of heat using filler material. And whatever the heating is carried out, it is below melting temperature. It is below 450 degrees Celsius. Okay. So whatever the solder we are using, okay, in that solder the the material will be meltable, means it will be melted immediately. So the temperature will be below 450 degrees Celsius. 450 पर्यंत ते temperature जातं and we can melt that soldering material. अल्युमिनियमचं असतं बघा ते. तर तुम्ही फ्यूज म्हणता ना, फ्यूज साठी तार वापरली जाते. Normally it's of material. So how we can define this? It is a process of joining similar or dissimilar metals by the application of heat and using filler material or alloy called as solder, whose melting temperature is below 450 degree Celsius. Okay. Now in this soldering process, whatever the filler materials that we are using is normally of you can see that whatever the solder used for different are given below: soft solder, medium solder, plumber solder, electrician solder. Okay, different types of solders are there. Okay, and whatever the composition is there or whatever the material is there, it is of lead and tin. Lead and tin. Okay, so 37% lead, tin will be 63% for the soft solder. Then medium solder is of, well, lead will be 50, tin also 50. These are the materials, सोल्डिंग मटेरियल जे आपण त्याला म्हणतो कन्झ्युमेबल. जसं आर्क वेल्डिंग मध्ये बघत आपण की जे काही वेल्डिंग रॉड आहे तो कन्झ्युम होतोय. हिटिंग जेव्हा तुम्ही कॅरी आउट करा त्यावेळेस ते काय होतंय, मेल्ट होतंय. इथं पण तसंच आहे ना. सो व्हॉट आर द पर्सेंटेज ऑफ लीड अँड टीन based on the type of solder? Plumber solder is there. There's a percentage of lead will be 70%, tin will be 30%, and electrician solder where lead will be 58% and the tin will be 42%. Okay. Now, how this soldering process is carried out? You can see the one picture is there. If there's an electronic circuit, PCB board. This thing. Filler material is there. Soldering gun. Okay. Through this current is flowing and we can carry out the heating, and here this filler material get melted. Okay, and we can complete the joint or we can complete the soldering. Now how to do the this soldering process? There are certain steps that we should understand. काय steps आहेत बघा इथे दिलेत. For soldering, we have to follow some steps or the standard process. That is, so whatever the two parts that you want to join, okay, so those parts can be fitted very closely. Okay, so whatever space between them is extremely small. म्हणजे जर त्याला बेंड वर असेल प्लेटला वगैरे, ओके, नॉर्मली तर तुम्ही त्याला ते प्रॉपर स्ट्रेट करून ते गॅप मधला काढला पाहिजे. दॅट इज वन रिक्वायरमेंट. Then second is clean the surface. There should not be any kind of dust or any particle over there. It should be perfectly clean. Then next will be application of flux. आपण तेव्हा ते फ्लक्स लावतो बघा. फ्लक्स का लावायचा आपण रिझन कळलं असेल. जे आर्क वेल्डिंग मध्ये रिएक्शन्स वर घडू नये म्हणून, किंवा जे काही जॉईंट होईल त्याचं लाईफ जास्त मिळालं पाहिजे. There should not be any reaction. It prevent the reaction with oxygen and the nitrogen. Okay, so we have to apply the flux. So this is the basic process of soldering that everyone has to follow for joining the parts. Now I will do the diagram for drawing. 1 2-dimensional diagram you have to draw. Okay, can you see the diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please draw this diagram quickly. So two workpieces are there, that is metal pieces. Please take down this. वर
Yes,
नाही
sir.
ते वर्क पीसेस आहेत ते. दोन वर्क पीसेस. Okay, for clarity of this, I will play the video, YouTube video on this. The diagram is completed.
Yes.
Hello. Diagram draw केली का?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll play the video related to the soldering. साऊंड कसं शेअर करतो?
Must be allowed to melt the solder for an ideal soldered joint. The solder should not be applied to the soldering iron tip to produce the connection.
You can watch the video that is on the PCB board.
Excessive heat and time will damage the component and PCB, and insufficient heat and time will produce a cold solder joint. Quality solder joints are a combination of proper technique and proper equipment and materials. The technique is a learned process which is optimized through experience.
1881 formula. What is 1881? देखिए, life में ना
ones, they will first have to be stripped and tinned. Stripping can be done in several ways. One way is...
Can you see the video? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can also watch on your YouTube. You can. There are many videos related to the soldering. For better understanding and the clarity, you can watch many videos on YouTube. It is free of cost.
With a mechanical stripper. This kind, if it's been properly calibrated to control the depth of the cut, can provide a clean strip and do it without nicking the wire. This type of stripper should not be used. The V-shaped notches in the blades do not conform to a round wire, and nicking the wire is the usual result. Using a knife blade to cut the insulation is another unacceptable method. It's almost certain to damage the wire. A safer and more versatile tool is the thermal stripper, which has a pair of heated tips for melting or softening the insulation rather than cut PVC. The heating of the tips is controlled by a foot switch as penetration occurs. However, is a thin film of oxide, and the wet sponge is used to shock them off, leaving the surface under the insulation. Remember, there should always be when only one wire is placed in a terminal, the insulation gap that's been left in the wire. Here is step number 2. A solder bridge is made to increase the thermal linkage between a solder joint. The joint with excess solder. The fillets here are convex, not concave. In this case, there's too much solder on the joint. The outline is gone, and the true condition to a single-sided board. Here, the pads are also cleaned with the abrasive stick. Pliers will be used. It's adjusted to spacing. The leads are wiped with solvent to remove oil. Clinched lead termination. The leads are first semi-clinched, then cut to a length equal to the pad diameter. In from the other. The tip is in contact with the lead, since this is the principal thermal mass in the joint.
So this is what they.
It's done with a light touch, so that no pressure is applied to the pad. The solder is painted on, and then removed before the iron is removed.
We complete the soldering.
The iron is always swept over the end of the lead and once the joint is cleaned after soldering. The appearance of the surface is concavity and smooth, shiny surface. Joints like these are unacceptable because this has been movement during soldering. A good way to inspect a joint is to roll it around under an overhead light. The movement directs the light on every spot and will quickly reveal any pits or discontinuities on the surface.
Sometimes while writing my newsletters, I tend to type so fast that there are spelling errors or some of my sentences just sound confused.
Okay, such videos you can watch for the better understanding of the soldering process.
Board. Now
Okay, basically, have you understood the 3 steps of soldering? One is what are the metal pieces that you want to join? Suppose mechanical front you think about. Okay, electronic circuit बदला तर PCB board असतो. The PC बोर्डावर तुम्हाला wires वगैरे join करण्यासाठी we use the soldering. Similarly, in case of mechanical parts that you want to join. Okay, what are the steps we have to follow? One is first, those metal pieces should be straight one. If there is some bend, you have to remove that bend. So we have to keep minimum gap. जो काही gap असतो तो जेवढा gap कमी करता तेवढं करा. We have to make it straight. Then secondly, we have to clean the surface. जो काही तुम्हाला join करायचं surface clean केला पाहिजे. Then apply the flux. Next step is applying the flux. Then last is you provide the heat. Okay, heating should be there so that soldering material can be melted, and whatever the gap is there, in the gap that molten metal get flows. The kind molten metal असणार आहे with the soldering material will get flows in the gap and complete welding can be done. येते लक्षात? एकदम सोपं आहे पार्ट लक्षात ठेवा याच्यामध्ये. ज्या स्टेप्स आहेत स्टँडर्ड ते आपल्याला फॉलो करून वेल्डिंग सोल्डरिंग कंप्लीट करायचं. So we'll stop here for the today. So related the important points write up. I'll do in the next lecture. Please give the attendance. Roll number 1, 2,
Present, sir.
3, 4, 5. Roll number 5, 6,
Present, sir.
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9. Roll number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Roll number 13, 14, 15, 15.
Present, sir.
16,
Present.
17,
Present, sir.
18, 19,
Present.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23,
Present, sir.
24,
Present, sir.
25, 25, 26, 26,
Present, sir.
27,
Present, sir.
28, 28,
Present.
29, roll number 29,
Present.
30,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
31,
Present, sir.
32,
Present, sir.
33,
Present, sir.
34, 35,
Present, sir.
36, 36, 37, 37, 38, 38, 38 is there, 39,
Sir, 38.
39, 40,
Present.
41, 41, 41 is there, 42, 42,
Present, sir.
43, 44, 44, 45, 46,
Present, sir.
47, 48, 49, 50,
Present, sir.
51, 51, 52, 53, 53,
Present, sir.
54,
Present, sir.
55,
Present, sir.
56,
Present, sir.
57, 58, 58, 59, 60, 61. Okay, I will repeat absent numbers. Roll number 5,
Present, sir.
12, 13, 36, 42, 43, 44, 49, 51.
49 is present.
Okay, 51, 58, 59 and 60 are absent. Okay, thank you very much.